Hey guys, welcome back. So about 5 to 8 weeks ago, I did a big cleanup of this plant room. I took all the plants that I thought were ugly, which was a lot of them. There are some plants I wanted to start over fresh, so I just defoliated them, took them back down to a stump, and some I wanted to sell, and they were a little bit too big to sell, so I was chopping them up into pieces to kind of restart them as little baby plants. And I chucked them into bins, and I basically left them alone until now. I think in that time, I watered them once, maybe twice. I just was checking the weight of the bins. Sometimes looking at the color of the substrate to see if they needed water. And I think now is the time to open them up and see what has grown in that time. I can see some leaves from the outside of the bins, but I purposely left them alone because I wanted to do it on camera. So it's a bit of a gamble. We could have an exciting video. It could be a lot of nothing, but that's the beauty of a prop box, because if you leave it long enough, when you do finally go to check on it, it's kind of like opening up a treasure chest. I liken it a bit to when you harvest potatoes. If you've ever grown potatoes, it's like the most fun vegetable to harvest because you're literally digging for treasures and you don't know what's going to come up in the dirt. I like to do these resets a couple of times a year because sometimes it just gets a little bit overwhelming when the leaves are just getting too crowded, or sometimes I just want to put a pause on some plants, so I just take a whole bunch of them and take them back to stumps so I can put a pause on them and give myself some breathing room so I can manage my schedule alongside my hobby. The only caveat with that is that you have to have an exit strategy at the end. You have to have a plan for what you might do with them once they do start growing, because they will start growing. Because if you don't have a place for those plants to go afterwards, you're kind of just living on borrowed time. So that's one thing I will mention. So the most recent video I did was maybe November-ish, and this big bin here is the bin that came out of that video. And then I have another bin that I did off camera, a little smaller bin. And then I wanted to go through another bin of seedlings that I've been trying to get to look better in that time. So without further ado, I think I will start with the small bin because those are the oldest cuttings. I don't think that this is dried out. Maybe some of them are a little bit dried out. So this bin, I want to say I did maybe around October is my guess, but I didn't really date them. I didn't have a tall bin for these, so I just put another bin on top of a bin. And I can see some leaves in here, but some of them haven't even sprouted yet. This is also a chance for me to throw out anything that might have rotted in that time. Okay, let's start with this big guy. This is oh my goodness, the root. Actually, let's fix the camera angle really quickly. Let's do something like this. So back to this one. This one is my dark form forgetii. Is it the first? No, maybe the second anthurium I ever got. I wanted to start it over because it's just been languishing in ambient, and I have a lot of trouble with forgetii, specifically in ambient. I know it varies from specimen to specimen, but maybe my conditions aren't good enough for forgetii, but I think across the board, I've never had a forgetii thrive in ambient the way some other can. So this one got a little bit, what happened to it? Maybe some water was sitting on it. It rotted a little bit here. It's quite a big leaf to be sitting in a prop box, and it flowered. I'm not really quite sure what to do with it because I'm not super committed to keeping this, but maybe I'm gonna have to start it over again or wait for another nice leaf, or maybe I'm gonna move it into my tent so it actually has a room to grow a nice leaf before I sell it. But the roots are quite healthy on it. This is basically right up against the light. So it's like, this is the lid of the bin and the light bar is kind of across it. So it's definitely not loving it in the prop box, but it did do its job in getting it to be restarted. This is another one from that same plant. It just popped this leaf, which did have the space to grow. This dark forgetii, it is like a dark form in that it doesn't have the silver veining, but it's not quite as dark or bumpy as other ones. And I do have another one on my shelf in ambient that's not doing so well that I might move into my tent. That one is a lot darker, a little bit more bumpy, but this one is also really cute. And all these has these like very large foreheads. So as it gets more mature, the space up here just gets larger, and like the petiole insertion is quite far down on the leaf, which makes it look quite funny. So I'm not committed to keeping either of them, but right now I would be more inclined to keep the little one. Okay, so this one is Crystal Lux by Bunny or Amanda. I chopped this up into two pieces. So there's this one, which looks oh no, it's alive. It took a little longer to activate, but there's a growth point right here. And then this one has a growth point right down here. This specific specimen is quite special to me, not only because my friend made it, but because these were one of the early luxuriance hybrids before Equigenera and Tropicals was doing it. And I just feel like it's quite special. I don't know. I will definitely be keeping one, but not both. This one is an unfortunate, it might be dead. Oh my God, I am so devastated. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's definitely dead. This was not cut up. This was one that had died back. So this one's SP Nova Costa Rica that I got from Owen. And I don't know what was going on with it. This one originally came from Rory. I think it went to Justin and went to Owen. And Owen so kindly shared it with me, knowing I would like it because it's like a really nice strappy. I'll put a photo here of what it would have looked like if I could grow it. But I just think I didn't do a great job with it. I did let it dry out a few times in the beginning and I was giving it too much light and I was pulling it back from the light and it just kind of kept declining until I put it into this bin hoping it would finally start to thrive again in like very high humidity, and it just kind of rotted back into nothing. So that one is an unfortunate goner. Let's see, this one, there's an active growth point, but it seems to have paused. This one is PAP RA5 Self from Amanda. It was, I think, maybe my first papillolamnum. This one is the seed parent of the PAP RA5 by Fortune Ralphinum hybrids I did, I think it was like a year ago, about a year ago. These ones came out really cute, but very few of them actually look like the PAP RA5, which is quite interesting because the PAP RA5, this one, quite green, quite bumpy, quite round, often with overlapping round lobes, and a lot of them just look sharp like the Fortune Ralphinum. I also have this prop, which has active growth points, but these were really slow. This is like 2 months of growth. This one also has an active growth point down here. Maybe you can see it, maybe not, I can't really tell. Oh, I have another one. This one, where's the growth point? Is there a growth point? This one's not active. Not sure if it's alive. Feels a little bit hollow. This one I think might be dead. But then I have 3 other props. And then what are you? Oh, another Forgetii dark form. The same plant as before. And then this one is, oh, another PAP RA5 Self. Wow, I must have had a lot of stem on that one. This one does have an axillary bud, but it's not really poking out. Oh, there's one right here. Growth point. So there's 2 growth points, 2 possible growth points on this. Interesting that the PAP is taking so long to grow. This one got a little scrunchied. Just checking for pests. This damage looking a little thrippy, but it could just be scrunching. This one is Ace BVEP, also from Amanda. I think she made this hybrid, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, she didn't. She got this hybrid from, I want to say, Becky. Do not quote me on that, but this one is a really pretty, really dark one that I think I tried to grow in my EXO back when I had EXOs before I did these shelves, and it didn't really do that well. So I think this is gonna be one of those like high humidity ones. I'm very much overdue for a big reset of my tent. So I don't know, maybe I'll do that on camera. But as of right now, there's no room. So back into the bin these go. The plants are not dry, but they could definitely use a little splash of water. Since this prop box doesn't get a lot of airflow, like the lid, the other bin that sits on top of it is not a tight seal, but it does create a lot of humidity in here. So I'm going to just give it a little splash of water, but not water nearly as deeply as I would a plant with more foliage. Unfortunately, none of these plants can graduate outside of the bin today because there's just nowhere for them to go. I will be keeping maybe 2 or 3 plants inside of this bin. The rest are gonna be for sale, but I just don't know when. Me, Jing, and Charmaine are so busy these days, so we don't really have time for website restock and like the weather and everything right now. Maybe late February, March is my guess right now, and I might just sporadically throw some things up on Marketplace when, you know, I feel like it and I have time. This one is really heavy. Oh, it's also very juicy in here. This one is the one that I did most recently. There's some bigger leaves in here, mostly I think because they were not chopped up. They were just like the leaves chopped off, but I didn't really touch the stems. I want to see, okay, hold on. It's all tangled up in here. This is the Dark Phoenix by King of Spades. I don't think the color will really show up really well on camera, but the veins are really pink. I think it will show up a little bit pink, and look how round it is. This one had pretty bad thrips damage. This was living in Abbey. You can see the thrips damage actually on an older leaf right here. I did spray the whole bin with spinosad and sealed it up, and it seems to have done the trick because I do not see any thrips damage on this. Oh my goodness, the color is so nice. This is probably the nicest leaf it's grown, and it's a shame because it's in 100% more, probably close to 100% humidity. I'd kept this one back in the past because the leaves were really round and quite minimal, but kind of, I would say it looked like a round dark phoenix, but this new leaf is looking a lot more king of spades, just a little bit more subdued. Oh man, I really like this leaf. And it just makes me sad because I was trying to grow a lot of them out in lower humidity conditions. And this one's just showing that I'm not very good at ambient growing because this is looking so much better. I really hope that you could see how pink those veins are. Dang it, I really like this one. Okay, well, there's another Dark Phoenix by King of Spades. I don't know why I'm kind of like out of breath. This one put out a leaf that got scrunched, but there's not much I can do about that. This one's a lot more green. The color difference is quite shocking because this one used to be quite green, just got so much more purples in it now. And this one is just like a true dark green. The veins aren't anything crazy. This one also was thrippy, if I can recall correctly. I don't really see the thrips damage on this leaf, but I remember cutting off thrippy leaves off this. So the plan with these ones was to just grow one nice leaf and be able to sell them on. And honestly, as much as I like this plant, I don't need to keep it. I need to be a lot more ruthless this year about getting rid of stuff, so I will probably sell both of them. What are you? Oh, Red Crystal by Carla. This one put out a nice new leaf, which is quite interesting because before I defoliated it, it was a lot more thick, bold veins, like a red crystallinum. And the veins came out on this one very, very clean and thin. This one is in such a big pot, so either I'm going to sell it locally or give it away to a friend. And I did have a friend that wanted to look through stuff, but we just haven't been able to see each other, so there's still opportunity for her to take a lot of stuff. This one is, oh, this one is the Lost Tag Hap Hybrid I got from my friend Jose, who got it from, I think, also Becky. I've always been a bit stumped as to what it was hybridized with. I'm going to go on a limb and guess a dress hybrid, so like pap and like something dress. I have no clue and I'll never know, but it's quite a fast growing hybrid. Yeah, this is quite a nice leaf. The lobes are really interesting. It's like this like intricate keyhole, but it's pretty symmetrical on both sides. This one is a Crystal Carla, just checking how rotted it is. The old petioles are all rotted, but the growth point is still okay. This is Crystal Carla hybridized by Phil from Stillmar Gardens that I got from Homebody. I really like this plant, but it was not doing well in ambient. Oh, this one I definitely want to get rid of because it's just not for me. This one's Subsignatum by Papillolamnum. It's like a very T-shaped plant. Really wide sinus. It always has this like very cut cheekbone look. I don't know if it's also because of my conditions where it dries out a little bit and warps the leaf a little bit, but it's quite glossy. The thing I don't like about it is that it's too helicoptery for me, and so it just takes up too much horizontal space. So I'm gonna let this one grow out and probably see if anyone local wants it. This Red Crystal by King of Spades. Let's see. Your growth point, is it still? That's weird. It kind of rotted a little bit. This is so gross. I need a paper towel. Where did I even put the plant? Oh, here. Looks like the growth point rotted a bit. So this is gonna need more time in the prop box. It's not looking very good. This is, oh my gosh. The whole top of this is rotted. Okay. This one is the Mag Hybrid from Amanda. It's growing. It's got 1, 2, 3 visible growth points. That one's kind of pointing downwards for some reason. They're really pointy. Like, they remind me a bit of cordyceps. You can see how much mush is at the top, but it's popped so many growth points and actively growing. So I'm gonna, let's see what I should do. I can't really be bothered to really do full-on surgery, so I'm just gonna take a paper towel and scrape away the most mushy parts and basically call it a day. I forget if I already said what this one is. This one is a Mag Hybrid Selfed from Amanda, and she got the original mother plant from Enid. I think that should do the trick. It just kind of scraped away the wettest, mushiest parts on top. This one is the open pollinated Carla from Fairchild. trying to see if the growth point is intact. I'd gotten this one at IAS, not this past year, but the one time I went to IAS was into 2024. I had bought it on Palm Street prior to IAS. I picked it up there. So this one's quite special to me, but the plant itself is not that special. Does that make sense? Like, I have fond memories around this plant, but this plant didn't turn out the way I liked it to be based on the leaves. Like, based on what it looked like when I bought it, it didn't really end up looking quite as nice as I had hoped. So my plan was to grow a nice leaf out of it and pass it on, but it doesn't really look like it's doing anything right now. We'll just give it some more time. This one is going to be for sale. It's really quite nice, this new leaf. This one is Dark Phoenix by Ralph Lauren and Fort Sherman. I got from Cartel Down. It really does take after Ralph Lauren and Fort Sherman in the color and the shape. It's definitely leaning more pap than Dark Phoenix. Actually, maybe it's a good balance between the two parents. But I always see more Ralph Lauren and Fort Sherman in it. It just looks a little bit more sinister. For me, Dark Phoenix is just a little bit greener, like a true dark green, right? Like looking at my, it's a little bit crispy, but that Dark Phoenix is like a really, really deep dark green. But Ralph Lauren and Fort Sherman to me always has, it's not like quite as true of a green. It's more maybe a little bit bluer, a little bit more claw-like, a little bit more menacing in look. As much as I like this plant, I probably wouldn't miss it if it was gone. Like, I probably don't think about it all that often anymore. I did like it a lot once upon a time, but we can prioritize the space for something else. Although the more I look at it, the more I'm falling back in love with it. So let's just put it back. Actually, for this one, the Dark Phoenix by King of Spades, I'm going to cut off this old thrips damaged leaf because we can just keep that. It'll just save some room. I want to show you a bin of seedlings that I did. It was my contaminated Carla selfed. So this plant right here, which I've talked about a lot of times, or I'll just show you the mother plant photo. So I selfed it late-ish in the later half of last year, and I want to show you them right now because I feel like it might be helpful for anyone who's dealing with the same issues on their plants, especially on seedlings. I've been out of CalMag for quite a long time. I want to say like maybe 4 months or so. I wasn't using CalMag at all because I just didn't have any. I don't know why, but I was kind of stuck on restocking the brand that I've always used, which is the Scentsy CalMag. And for some reason, it's just gotten really expensive on Amazon, which was where I was trying to get it because I didn't know where it was being stocked in stores. And there was one particular hydroponic store in Vancouver that stocks it. It's John's Plant Factory for anyone who's wondering, but I'd have to cross town in order to get it. So I just never had like a good reason to go there. And I'm kind of not in the place of wanting to travel far just to get a bottle of CalMag. There's like a million other things I'd rather be doing. So in the end, I just got a different brand. Let me just find which one it was. In the end, I just got this one from Kronk Nutrients. I've never tried it before this, just because I just needed to get CalMag. And I remember like telling you guys, and without too much testing on my part, but just parroting what other people have said, is that it doesn't really super matter which brand of CalMag you use. So I just ordered this one because it was way cheaper. I guess maybe half the price of the Scentsy CalMag. It didn't used to be that price. I just don't know why it's so expensive right now. It's probably tariff related. But anyway, I really needed to use it on these seedlings, and it seems to be helping a lot because these seedlings were showing what I think was magnesium deficiency. Let me just show you the bin at a glance. So they're about this size right now, and a lot of them were showing, let me show you the worst ones. This one might be one of the worst ones. So it's showing this kind of like webby discoloration. It almost looks like a bleach plant, but based on the light they were getting, I kind of ruled out light bleaching because at one point they were down here, so they're really far from any light. The Soltex are on the ceiling. It is bright enough, but not bright enough to bleach seedlings in particular. And then later I moved them to here, which is under 110-watt Verena, again with some distance between the light and the top of the bin. And I would say it's probably more than a foot away. So if it's not light, then it has to be some sort of nutrient deficiency. So I started using CalMag on it. I want to say this was right before Christmas, so maybe less than a month ago that I started using it, but it has gotten better. So the whole bin, imagine the whole bin was like this plant with that really webby lightning veins, just a lot of chlorosis between the veins. And then this one basically looked like this, but it's been kind of filling in a little bit more. This one is quite dry. I need to water it, but you can kind of see the issue is not so strong. Just imagine, I didn't show you the before, unfortunately, but just imagine it was really chlorotic before, and now it's starting to fill in. So I want to give it another month to see if new leaves that have come in. This grew before I started using CalMag, so the issue is pretty strong with this one. I want to see how it hardens off or what the next leaf looks like. But I will be documenting the changes, especially on this one. So this one and this one, I guess from now on will kind of be my controls. There's still a little bit of chlorosis on this one, so I want to see if it fully fills in or if the next leaf, because it did pop a leaf, if the next leaf doesn't have that issue. While I am pretty confident that CalMag will at least help the issue, I want to see if it will fix the issue for the ones that are showing the most chlorosis. In the past, I've had that issue with certain plants, like my Midnight Velvet really needed it. It had a little bit of chlorosis, and it did help, but it got bad again when I didn't have a CalMag, so I've kind of restarted my Midnight Velvet because of it. The last 3 waterings I've done in the plant room have been just CalMag with no other added fertilizer. So yeah, I will keep you guys posted maybe in a future growth updates video. The fertilizer I use, which is TPS1, does have CalMag in it, but I just find it's not enough CalMag, at least for Anthurium, so I always have to supplement with something else. So I'm really glad I finally have CalMag back in rotation. And that brings us to the end of what turned out to be a very simple video. I am like gagging to go outside right now. It's the most beautiful weather and there's only a few hours of sunlight left, so I really want to go for a walk. But I do have to finish watering this whole plant room before I do that. So I'm going to quickly do that and go for my walk. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I love you guys so much and I will see you in the next one. Mwah!